linens. Roaches ran the cupboards, mama barely dodged eviction. Papa ran the trenches, being present, not an interest. I only gave a tidbit, so at least y'all got the premise. My story's far from finished, cause with you don't have a blemish. I could be in a cell stuck, carrying out a sentence. They living through my sentences. Tired of my family living marginal, but then the parallel became audibly remarkable. Learning myself every molecule and particle. A man first. See these atoms shaking, whole nother vibration. Action frequency with frequency. I keep your earth.
Peace, IT. Coming through. Mental Arts Dojo 13. Maal IT, just waiting for him to come through. How you doing, brother?
Y'all worried about these hindquarters. Got Chuck Ken taking their earnings. Shackled to division till y'all see them bridges burning. Deja vu in the scope. This is higher learning. Been astray, but thank you for the path found. 10 toes down, but learn to levitate above the ground.
Yeah, you can put that on if you want to. What's happening?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just
man. Still here in that tie-dye, living life, living lavish.
I'm good, man. You know, sometimes you gotta look pretty. Sometimes you gotta try it.
You gotta do what you gotta do, bro. Goatee looking crisp. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, how you doing though? You doing well, hopefully?
I'm good, man. We're just actually sitting down in the lab with the producer that made that beat he was playing, that made Above Ground. Trying to actually get some work in, get some reps in after we do this. Try to cook something, you never know.
100%. And that track is fire. Shouts out to the producer, you know? I see you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, usually, I mean, this is week 13, Mental Arts Dojo. You came through with crazy verses. Not the only one, you know what I'm saying? But the one that we showed, fire, Morph. And so usually how we start this off is we'll have the artist kind of kick us the verse. We can kind of get it live from the source, get that acapella in. I know you've been fiending for acapella. So
man,
here's the time, you know?
I was excited. I was excited. But this joint that I sent over goes, I point to the sky when they asked my lineage, and only child whose closest sibling was his sentences. Lego assembling, learn early fight, mental imprisonment, building blocks from rare and scarce scribbling to hand scripting these Iliads. Y'all part of my sibilance. I'm just cinching all my stitches in. The next sequence is sequence. Little bright bits of the mind, if you can see squint, look at 5 times over. I hope you see quints. I battle with these artful apparitions, learn to kick the apprehension upon entrance of the apprentice mission. Only those that trust it truly get it. It's been a journeyman's path to the craft on the task with the master's vision. And a steady optimal skill achievement, skill set over social acceptance, shattering oppressive systems artfully. We absorbed so much of this damn guild, it became functional parts of me. Partner stark contrast, it was Excelsior face doom, a fresh flows decorate your tomb. Went from raves of laughter to waiting in dead pools. Lord, hit some extra pairs of pandemic end soon. ITs.
Hey, you got the Molly.
Yeah, Maal. Yeah.
Yo, fire, IT. I'm being honest. I had to Google some words, you know? It's like, yo.
Oh yeah.
What is this?
We'll get into that, bro. We'll get into that.
Okay, so just a couple questions for you. When you're making a piece like this, right? I mean, to me, the flow was very like battle rappy kind of. Like you kind of had these like technical pieces. Was that like intentional? Is that kind of something that you kind of learned through battle rap, or how did that kind of come up with that flow, like emerge?
This is actually a lot of things, right? Like pre-SOSA, I kind of had this style, as Lupe IT would say, like, or even Mickey Fax pointed this out to me. Mickey Fax IT, shout out to Master ITs. He pointed out that I'm a slant rhymer, so I'm an imperfect rhymer. And so to kind of to add to my skill set, I went into syllable sounds, like branching syllable sounds. And we'll talk about why I chose the term morph in a little bit, because it's actually, it is out to Maven IT pulled something out of it right away. So essentially that it was just me sharpening my skill set. I have been asked to battle rap before, but I've actually battle rap. So some of that is that kind of in and out cadence, that punch in and out imperfect rhyme. Yeah, that is kind of a battle rap style. but
Mhm.
I kind of had it a little bit before.
And it's super dope because it seems like it's like it lets you kind of break down the words and pull more out of it. Kind of gives that little like adrenaline kind of when you listen to it, like, oh damn, like kind of moving. You know what I'm saying? It has that like
Yeah.
that feel to it. So it's really dope, right? IT. And so when you're kind of approaching a piece like this, did you write it to that specific beat, or did you kind of do it and then shape shift it? How did you kind of come up with that?
Or Morph it. I like that.
Yeah, morph it.
Like IT though. But you're sharp. I know that. Actually, Renz Young, who's sitting next to me, the guy who made Above Ground, he actually made the beat. And I was joking with him about how when I first met Lupe IT, he hit us with like, as IT talk, we say like a DDT moment. Like, yo, we was like talking about, somebody said something about the cool or something. He was like, yo, nigga, make your own cool. And I was like, whoa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, make your own mural. And I'm like, bet. So when he heard the sample, he was like, yo, you got to do this. Just do it. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, because, you know, when you hear that sample, like, you only think of one song right now when you hear that sample. We know what it is, IT. Like, we know right away you think of Big Homie IT. So I was like, you know what? If I can't make a mural, I'm going to make a collage of Molly. And so literally that's what I did. I was like, when I heard it, I was like, yo, I'm going to give this like a constraint. And then I'm going to just stab that constraint over and over and over and over and rewrite it until I feel like it was perfect. And I felt like I did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
100%.
yeah.
And yeah, it was really dope. Like to me, just hearing it was like there's so much to unpack just off the way it's written. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you're not really using a specific technique, just the penmanship of it is like there's so much going on. It's like what? Like why do you say it that way? You know what I'm saying? And this was one of those pieces where I was like, yo, let me do some homework on this before I freestyle the show. Let me just like, get a little bit more. And so yeah, 100%. I feel like there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of cool things. I like that. We'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. But yeah, if you want to just take us from the top, kind of, and just show us, the pathways of how you maneuver this piece.
So right off top, I'm gonna give you an Easter egg, and the reason why it's called Morph is because I'm morphing words together, but morpheme isn't morph. Like it's a technique we use in SOSA, so it's morphemes. So when you say like there's a lot of word association, you'll see that down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I took as many words as I could within a constraint, and I chopped them literally as small as I can get them.
Mm-hmm.
That made sense to me and made sense to maybe the listener, right? So there's a shallow, deep element to it. So I wanted to make it like, you could catch some surface level right away. And if you really, really, really are into that, how people craft things and how people say certain things and, enunciation, or you're into just kind of like patterns and synchronicity, you catch it. So I went back to like when I thought lineage, I was like, yo, like, where are you from? And so, like I said, I point to the sky when people ask my lineage, and it's like I'm from God, I'm from the universe. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like my grandmother, my mother, my foundation, they're godly, they're gods and goddesses. And so when people are like, yo, where are you from? Like I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A lot of people don't think I am. I guess I don't know why, but I'm from Milwaukee. Shout out Alex IT. There's some ITs in Milwaukee. But it was kind of like, yo, where are you from? Like, yo, I'm from the sky. Like, I'm not from Earth. You have to look at me differently right now. Mm-hmm. So that's what the first thing was. Yo, I point to the sky when they ask my lineage. Like, you ever see these sci-fi movies when aliens, like somebody's not from here? It's like, where are you from? I'm from
up there. Yeah.
Yep. So I point to the sky when they ask my lineage. The only child whose closest sibling was his sentences. I'm from the Midwest, small family. I have one sibling, naturally, blood sibling. And I was the only child I'm 15 years older than my brother. So at the time, the closest thing to me was writing. It was my sentences, right? And so then we start to go into these morphemes, like Lego assembling. When you're a child, you play with Legos.
Big facts. Legendary.
Right? And So it was sentences and Lego assembling. So like, yo, I read books and wrote. I was on that type of time. Like, and I didn't write a lot, but you know, you just scribble sentences, you know. And what I'm showing is there's progression in my thinking. Right? The only child whose closest sibling was his sentences. Like that was dear to me. I didn't, you know what I mean? And then it's Lego assembling, learn early fight mental imprisonment. So these are things that my parents built into me, right? To go through these natural paths of learning. So I went from scribbling to building. And then I say building blocks, because Legos are literally building blocks. So what I did was I built up a block for you, and then I told you exactly what I just said to you, but I kept moving. You know what I mean? And so it's like building blocks, you know, and then you say from rare and scarce scribbling to hand scripting these Iliads. So shout out to my brother Deuces is in here, young Deuces in here, and like they had this running joke that was they kept calling me like Molly Electronica, because I could rap, but I would never rap. I would never put out music, right? And so like, okay, so I went from rare and scarce scribbling to handwriting Iliads. Like this, I feel like I wrote a story, and it's a unique story, and it, you know, the Iliad is one of the biggest unique stories out there because he used like lipogram. Right, he was omitting letters and things like that. I teach it, you know, part of my language. So I teach. So part of my sibilance. Now sibilance is the act of setting things up in a certain motion, right? But this also becomes like I'm using the same letter. Sentences, sibling, scribbling. Iliads is kind of like an imperfect rhyme. And I'm telling you, like, yo, I'm playing around right now. I'm just cinching all my stitches in. Right? So I'm just really stitching you a story. I'm hand stitching you right now. And it's like I was trying to be like kind of arrogant at that point, but not arrogant, but just kind of be like, yo, I'm just getting started. Don't mind, yo, I'm just cinching all my stitches in. Now, the next sequence. Yo,
sorry, with the stitches piece, if you're syncing your stitches, could also be a thing where it's like you're healing yourself, you're stitching yourself. It's come to a point where it's like you can handle that. You don't need anybody to do it.
Right. I was kind of like saying like I'm stitching myself together like I'm stitching this story together. Like just give me a second. Right. I'm really just reconnecting with myself. And that goes back to the things that are above you, right?
Right.
When you have a purpose or you feel like a certain way with the universe, you feel connected. And so it's like, yo, give me a second. I'm really just plugging in right now. Right. But for the sake of kind of being like cloth talk, because I was thinking about like, yo, cloth, like I'm sewing, and you can see the progression, hopefully IT and people watching. Appreciate you guys. It was kind of like, yo, all right, so I'm just cinching all my stitches in, but it's also alliteration. The next sequence is sequence. It's morphing, word association, sequence. So you kind of get that. And then I do it again. Little bright bits of the mind. If you can see, squint. Sequence, right?
Battle rap, man.
I mean, I guess I can see that. But yeah, you get
crazy,
you get people like a Loaded Lux who does that. And I'm a student of Loaded Lux, so yeah, you could say that. And that's probably where it comes from. Like it's kind of like he goes into these rips, like he just starts slicing the word down, and he's like, yo, I can see the words inside of these words as this dude is like rapping. And so I wanted to own that piece of the craft, right, for myself. So that's why I did that.
Super dope. Like when I'm giving homage to it, it's like, because in battle rap, that's like, to me, one of the dopest things when you take a word and they just keep flipping it and you think they're done and they just keep flipping it. You're like, yo, like what? Like, you know, super ill IT.
Daylight IT is an animal.
Yeah. He's
like, yeah, he is phenomenal. And so it's kind of paying homage to people that I feel like have phenomenal pens in a way too, but also letting, you know, other ITs and the listeners know that like, look, yo, like you can't play, like you can't play with me. And not even like with ITs like that, but just like, yo, I want y'all to feel like, yo, he deserves to be in SOSA. Right. And so this was kind of like my journeyman piece. It was kind of like, yo, yeah, like this dude's Molly, he's me. Right. And so, but the play on it was like, we go back to the stitching. It's weird to say you put on sequins, right? But it's like, I literally, like, sequins catch your eye. No matter how good or bad they look, they catch your eye, right?
And that's like when they put jewels in clothing?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Like,
yeah,
look,
I Googled it real quick. I'm
dazzle,
gonna be real, bro.
not be
Like,
dazzle, I think, not dazzle. But it's kind of like sequins, like, really catch you. Like, think about it, like, if you watch wrestling IT, you know, Ric Flair's known for the robes, and there's sequins in his robes, right? And it gives you like this glossy kind of, like, it's not a diamond, but it'll catch you enough. Like, if you look at it, like, yo, what is that? Why is it so bright? And so literally, like we did before, I say little bright bits of my mind. If you can see, squint. Again, I'm morphing in words.
Down. And look closely.
Or like
Focus.
Michael Jackson. Yeah, exactly. IT. Prince Day IT. So, like, if you can see, squint. But now look at 5 times over. I hope you see quints. Now, this is where, for me, I was like, yo, I got it. So then you go, you know, from stitches to sequence to sequence to sequence. If you see squint, look at 5 times over. 5 times is quint. I hope you see quints.
Quincy Jones?
Not, I wish I would have thought of that. I ain't going to take credit for that. I was thinking, like, you see it 5 times.
Okay.
So, yo, look, like, I just did this trick in front of you 5 times over. If you can see it, squint.
Oh, damn.
Right? Because look at the words I just, like, I just literally did it 5 times, and then I told you what it meant 5 times. Quint is 5 times. Right? So I use the same, I cut the word sequence 5 times. So, yeah, I tried.
Yo, hold on. Just let it breathe for a sec, man. Just let me be still for a little bit. Like, I was breaking this down. I was like, yo, man, like, quint, 5 suits, like what? Like, you know, it's a sick hand. And I was like, okay, look at 5 times over. Okay, I'm looking at the cards, you know, the deck of cards, Quincy Jones. Like, okay, like, but I never peeped that piece. So
yeah, I'll take that. Jones is a master composer. I'm gonna sneak that in there. Thank you for that. I'll take that one.
You can cash at me later. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I'll pay you in diamonds for that one. That was slick. And then there was a point in, shout out to Ladies AIT. She's like, yo, where's your SOSA story? Because I didn't get to meet all the other ITs. And so there was a point where, like, I didn't want to do music at all. Like, I would write. Like, I would write. And I would, you know, rap for my wife and my kids, or just certain people. And it was kind of like, yo, I struggle with demons of creativity or ghosts of creativity. So, like, there's something hanging over me where I didn't want to do it. So battle with these artful apparitions, like, they're like demons or spirits that, like, kind of hung over my art. Like, I didn't want to do it. Like, I didn't have the heart to do it. And then I said, I learned to kick the apprehension upon entrance of the apprentice. So pretty much on the onset of SOSA, like, you know what it is. Like, all the ITs know what it is. It's kind of almost like it put a battery in my back. And so, but again, this is constrained enunciation. Battle with artful apparitions, learn the apprehension upon entrance of the apprentice mission. So I'm really just having fun with cadence, right? It's about syncopation. They call it syncopation. So it's like controlling your breathing and still going into that in and out. So right now I'm weaving, so I'm sewing, I'm in and out, in and out, in and out. As I'm showing you this, right? Put a pin in it. I'm sorry, it's bars. So once I got through that, and then I said, only those entrusted truly get it, because I know you get where I'm coming from. Like, I know how it feels to be in IT. Like, I know what it feels like to be in SOSA. Like, I know the pressure of what we went through, you know? So this is me appreciating, going backwards a little bit. This is me appreciating my growth creatively. I literally just said, I went from scribbling and being the only child and being alone to barely writing to writing big, drawn out Odyssey type things in my head to now really going at it in SOSA. And y'all know what that's like, right? So those entrusted truly get it.
That's the growth piece too, like the
right. So it's like, this is where I started my journey. So now if I point to the sky, this is my landing point. This is where my journey started. When I landed, I've been growing since I landed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's what it was. And so it's been a journeyman's path to the task with the craft of the master's vision. Again, it goes back into that syncopation phase,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm kind of punching in and out. But at the same time, I'm saying, like, when I didn't get to meet you guys, my ITs, it was during the retreat, and everybody kind of graduated, and here was like, yo, I didn't even get to go. And it was like, like, so I stepped into being a journeyman, a JM or a gym. But it was it was me just learning the craft under like the task of all this crafting we do is
Mm-hmm.
under the master's vision. So it was a slick way of me saying, like, yo.
And you kind of
Oh,
did
go ahead.
you brought back the growth piece too, the apprentice, journeyman, master. So it's like a revisit to the same timeline, kind of, right? Super ill.
Word. Yeah.
And then
so
the next part is the piece. I'm like, damn. Like, yo, SOSA 3 times? Okay.
What?
Super ill.
So steady achievement. Skill set over social acceptance. Skill set over social acceptance. Scattering oppressive systems artfully. If you don't know, I am spelling out the acronym SOSA. So instead of saying SOSA, I was like, nah, let's put some thought into it. And so I up with these acronyms first. So outside of
listen, IT, you got to stop dropping bars, make conversation, please. Like, come on, IT, come on.
you got to read these comments sometimes. And we got to have barbarian bucks versus full circle. It's funny though. It's funny though because like one of my homies calls me Black Hoodie Maal. Like they got gray hoodie looks, and you said the difference.
Right.
This
Yeah.
just like if you look at my Twitter, me and one of my little homies is going back and forth about Black Hoodie looks versus gray, Black Hoodie Maal versus gray hoodie looks. So that's funny. TRP, that's hilarious. But so again, bro, I was really trying to tailor this to SOSA, like my growth. If you want to look at it, my growth since I landed in SOSA, you could play it so many ways. My growth over the journey of my life. But I thought those are things that we are putting out, like through things like Mental Arts Dojo, through things like the magazine that Life is a Freestyle is doing, that Full Circle is doing, having other ITs really getting into people's crafts, with us trying to create new metaphors in the world, things like that. But what we went through. It's weeks and weeks and weeks and years of beating on your craft, steady optimal skill achievement, skill set over social acceptance. We kind of like, we love the fact that we're rappers, right? I don't care. Like, I really don't care if you play my music on, like, if you think it's a club record or whatever. Like, I want to be respected by the craftsmen. So the people who have like razor sharp pen, wit, and they have, they're respected. We don't care about social acceptance if you're not of that cloth. You know what I mean? And then shattering oppressive systems artfully. I think we all have a chance to do that. It doesn't matter if you're rapping or not. It doesn't matter if you're you're into the tech world, you're in education, you're in, it sounds weird, but I don't care if you're like, like a non-essential person, like a person who's just like a blogger. It's like they say people like who blog, or people who are curators and tastemakers. You have a chance to shatter the constraints of what people think is supposed to be, the end thing, or something that's holding you down. Racism, segregation. We can go for, we can go on for days and days, but it's something that about rap, something about art, something about, cooking, and something about having something, or fitness is something that you have within yourself that you can hold on to. It shatters that oppressive nature of anything if you really, really love what you have love for the people who do it.
100% IT.
And so the absorbing so much of the guild, like, we kind of like a gang out here. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like, shout out to Royce IT. He made a comment on the podcast. He was like, yo, y'all got like a little cult. And I was like, I wouldn't call it a cult, buddy, but you know, it is. It's like we're a gang, we're a family. We absorb so much of the guild, like it becomes functioning parts of me. You know, the FUV thing. They like we know what it is. FUV. We want to make sure that things are adding value, that they're firm, they use them, they're beautiful, right? And so that's how I felt. Like I'm so immersed into this thing, and I know we all are. That it does become like a functioning part of you. Like when I do commercial work with my music, like I step back and like, yo, what would the ITs think sometimes? Like, yo, is this, you know what I mean? Like, it's high level rap. Even if I'm rapping about absolutely nothing, did I do it skillfully? Because sometimes as artists, you get in those moods. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want filet mignon all the time. Sometimes you want a steak fajitas. I don't know. You want ramen noodles. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be able,
slapping though.
Yeah, ramen slap. Don't care where you at. You say ramen noodles ain't slapping, I'm a question your humanity. But like so like that's what it is, you know what I mean? Like it's all about us like really engulfing in the things that you guys are doing. Shout out to your class, Full Circle, what's happening? Lux Primus, what's happening? But just the things you're doing, we are SOSA. We're walking now. Remember, like when we came in, we wanted to be a part of. Now we are, right? So that's pretty much what that is. And then I want to have a flip, and it's like, yo, pardon my stark contrast. It was Excelsior, face doom, fresh furrows decorate your tomb. Went from waves of laughter to waiting in dead pools. Lord, here's an extra pair. The pandemic ends soon. There is more to Morph, by the way. I'm a Marvel fan. And I know that someone pointed out Excelsior being Stan Lee. But if you, here's the thing, here's the running theme in the song. Let's go back, and nobody probably missed it, but I said it. Knowing me, I probably mispronounced or got too excited because I knew it was coming. Pardon the stark contrast, Tony Stark.
Yeah, like Ghostface 2.
Right? Yeah, right. So
Ghostface Doom.
Pardon the stark contrast. It was Excel. So what I want to really say is it sounds like Excelsior, Stan Lee, but I want this was Excelsior or face doom.
Like either you excel or you're gonna face doom, basically.
Right.
That's it.
Right. It's not even like evolution as a human. It's the evolution of a thinker and a creative. A lot of places where we're from, it's you have to succeed or there's other things that can be untimely. You know what I mean? Like people, you know, everybody has a group of friends that, pardon me, would rather be out here in these streets. You know, you have friends that they go the legal route, they go to the regular route, they get a 9 to 5. There's some people that are creatives. There's an amalgamation of all three of those things, right? And so, like, yo, where I'm from, Milwaukee, it's like you try to be successful or you don't. It's sink or swim. You know what I mean? It was Excelsior face doom. But just to keep the Marvel theme, I was looking at Dr. Doom, and the villain. So you be successful or you come with the face of being a villain.
Man, you just reminded me of that Doom Starks project that we'll probably never see or never hear.
Man,
I'm reminded me of that, man. R.I.P. MF.
I'm still hurt. Yeah, I'm hurt of that. And then fresh florals decorate your tomb. That was just a kind of poet way of me saying like, yo, you can excel, but to some of us, where we're from, failure's death.
And that's kind of like, even if you relate it back to the SOSA piece, it's like you got to try to become better, or else everyone around you is going to get better. And it's like if you don't become better, then you're basically dead in terms of like your craft. Like
right. I mean, it's you want to excel or you don't. And for us, like I want to get better, and that's why SOSA is pivotal, right? But by anything, any craft you're doing is pivotal, right? And then we went from waves of laughter to waiting in dead pools. This a real quick. I thought it was a quick flip. because Wade Wilson is Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
So we went from waves of laughter right before the pandemic. Everybody's out having a good time, you know, everybody's enjoying each other. And now we're waiting in death. Right.
But also
and
the
then,
mask
you know,
reference,
lower here.
like
Yeah.
the Doom and then Deadpool like mask. Okay, Marvel.
Yep. So those are masks. And then like I was thinking about masking, like how do you mask emotions?
Mm-hmm.
You never see Deadpool smile, do you?
Now, like barely. It was got the mask on, right? Like,
It's masked,
Jeez,
right?
that's that coronavirus bar right there. Damn.
Right. Right. So, and those are 3 people with masks. So it was like, yo, MF Doom, you never seen his face. Dr. Doom, we heard what his face looks like, but we never really seen his face. And then Deadpool, you know, I was really going for the Wade Wilson flip.
Yeah, that was lit. That was lit. Like,
yeah, so
like you know, I'm kind of into Marvel, but like some of the details. But like when you said Wading and Deadpool's, I'm like, yo, wasn't that guy's name Wade something? But like I didn't know off top, but like
yeah,
that's
his
lit.
name's
That's just a clean bar.
So it's like Wading in Deadpool's is, and it came across as like a battle bar, but I really meant it like we went from literally joy, man. Like we were out enjoying ourselves, other people's company, and we went from taking things such as a smile or a laughter. You know what I'm saying? Like we took it for so much for granted, and then the polarity hits, and it's like we're surrounded by death, like we're swimming in death.
Mm-hmm.
All because people can't mask shit up. I mean, pardon my language. People can't mask things, right? And I was thinking about masking emotionally, masking physically, masking pandemic, and then I said, well, just Lord, here's some extra prayers, the pandemic, and some.
See, like for me off rip, I was like, yo, why did he end with the pandemic? Like I didn't put 2 and 2 with the masks, like the 3 masked men. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, the end with the pandemic. Like, okay, maybe it's kind of like a piece where it's like coming to terms, or like giving like a joyful moment, kind of restoring hope, kind of. But then when you get them, like, yo, it's just it's a sick IT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's all it was, man. You know, if you got any observations, I love to discuss those. You know, I ain't gonna take up too much of your time, but
I mean, for me, like listening to this, it was very technical. And when you like write a piece like this, is this how you approach all your raps off rip, or like was this pen specifically for this in terms of like because I know you said that you wrote this in kind of like a journeyman piece and kind of have that, but in general, like how does like Maal himself, when he's approaching his pieces, do you write this way specifically, or is the intention different? Like how does that kind of, or do you just flow state it out? How does that work?
Because I have like that kind of affection for battle rap, and I'm an awkward rhymer. I'm naturally like an imperfect slant rhymer. I'm a word manipulator. This was like very, very, very intentional. And it depends on what I'm actually like the subject matter that strikes me the most at the moment. So the track you're playing, Above Ground, that's a lot of flips in that as well, but the inflection and the punchiness is a little bit more subtle and smooth. So with a piece like this, I did go for technicality, but I also went for replay value. So a lot of my songs, what works for Maal as an artist, Maal himself, the artist, is that I go for a shallow deep. And I always say that, like, I was like, what? And I go for people who like have a deep affinity for lyrics. They're like, oh, I see what he did. Right? And people who just are in it just to listen, just they like songs, they want to hear Molly rap or whatever, they catch it. But then I want people like the Cool ITs and whoever else to go back, yo, this dude, did you see, wait a minute, why did he structure this like this, and why did he say this, and why do these 5 words in a row rhyme like this? Like, what is he doing? That's my template. So that's what I'm about. I want you to catch some things, and then some things I really hide, and I've learned ambiguity, right? That's our sword, ambiguity, right? And so it's like yo, if you want to look for the ambiguity, I'd love for you to. I want you to dig deeper. But on the surface, you might catch some things. I'll say some things on the surface right away too.
Yeah, because like for me, usually when I hear pieces, like there's certain instances where you can tell something is structured to like what's the word for it, to like house, or to like be advantageous for like a play on words, you know. You'll hear it, like, yo, like you said, like, yo, why do you say it this way? You know something's hidden, but it's like, let me uncover it. And the thing with this piece is like there's so many different layers to it, where it's like, for me, it's like, even in the first part, the sequence, like all that stuff, and the quints and the five, it's like I got certain parts of it, and it was like to a point where I was like, it was satisfied, you know. It's like, okay, I see what he did. But then you get the extra layer, and it's like, yo, that's like the like over the top piece, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what, like, to me, made this piece so dope, is because like I did some digging on it. You know what I'm saying? There's a few things that were like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
You know?
And that's what brings me joy, right? Knowing that, someone like yourself can really be like, who has a threshold for the craft, and you can really submerge yourself into it. And it's something that I learned in SOSA. It's like, yo, why are you putting blood on? You guys will hear me say this every once in a while, but it'd be like some of the other ITs and the master ITs be like, yo, it's blood everywhere. Why'd you do that, Molly? And I'm like, I don't know. Left me alone with a sword. What else did you want me to do? Like, is it go crazy or don't go crazy? So like, I wanted to push it to like the edge of, yo, this is too much, but nah, I want more. Like, why? So I peter with that, and this is why I did the morphing. And so the whole totality of the piece is, it's anamorphic art. You need to view it a certain way to see it. So if you wanted a history lesson on Molly the MC, now you have it. But you also, my childhood, it's about me. It's a collage. It's not a mural, even though the sample suggests so. And then also, because we know who used that sample, and it's like, yo, if I'm gonna walk in the shadow of, I'm gonna climb the giant then. 100%. And so, you know, big homie IT, Master IT was like, he was like the bar, and I'm like, yo, that's a long time. Yo, let me make my own bar. You know what I mean? So
that's
make my
bars.
own, you know what I mean? Like, so but yeah, there's more to it. And the reason why I got it to you so quick, I was like, yo, no, Cool's gonna enjoy this.
Yo, the turnaround time was crazy. Like, yeah, like I was like, yo, listen, damn.
I was sitting there with my wife, IT, and she was like, yo, why don't you do that? And I'm like, you know what? Why don't I do that? Like, yeah, let's just, because the first one I sent was kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. It was kind of like, yo, I just want to get it to him. And the only reason I sent that one, not to get off subject, the only reason I sent you that one, because the scheme in that one, crazy. That was, we'll talk about that offline, IT. We'll talk about that IT to IT.
Like, because I remember you spit that for the I seen another version that was like a cappella version, and that was the one verse that, like, because like, here's the thing, some of the ITs I haven't really heard too much of their like material, like their other stuff, especially in Lux Primus, you know. So with that one, I remember that verse, so I was like, yo, that verse is crazy. But for me, it's like, yo, I kind of want to like challenge Maal a little bit. I'm trying to get something else out of him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why I'm trying to like,
that's all more, right? And the other one's like, no, let me show him that I really you know what I'm saying? Like, I finally got my turn on life is a freestyle martial arts dojo. Let me show him I'm a cook. So I gave you a piece that it's out there, but nobody's heard it like come full circle, so to speak. Right?
Come on.
You know what I mean? So like, nobody's really like, and get it from me and see my face and watch my, you know, hear the rapper hands, and you know how we do, right? And so nobody got that. And I was like, yo, this is very IT specific. I think it's a great piece. But what I'm going to tell you is, because I know I'm a fan of the show. Right?
Thank you, IT.
I'm in the dojo with my shoes off, sitting cross-legged, watching right?
Appreciate it, IT.
There is a song called Morph out there. And if you think that that the first couple bars were crazy,
there's more to it. Way more to it, eh? I'm gonna have to just Google this right now.
It gets deeper. Um, so I will just tell you, like, to kind of round out the conversation because we talking. The thing behind the entire thing was like my journeyman, my journey as a man.
Mm.
We'll make it sexy. My journey as a man, from a boy into a man, creatively and through life. And the overlocking theme of this, the underlying theme of this is I use 3 constraints. Not technically, but I would say like subject matter wise.
Mm-hmm.
Is my life as growing up as a creative. And then at the end I kind of divulged that the only thing they gave us was comic books, fashion, and racial inequality. Right. And so it goes, that Marvel thing gets like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And in between, I use like the little, like you said, I use like the subtle jabs to set up other constraints. So you'll hear me, if you hear it, if you listen to it, once you listen to it, just, you know, hit the bat phone, and you'll notice that I interweaved fashion lines.
Mm.
So now it's word association.
And even that cloth piece, like to me, I really like that cloth piece because it, like the jewels in it, the gems in it. It's like you're sewing it, you're stitching it, but then you hear the gems. There's so many like words that birth or put other words into your head as a rapper, and especially with rap, we have so many words that we use, like, oh yo, you know, this guy's dropping gems, this guy's kicking fire, this guy's doing this, this guy's doing that, right? And so even getting those into it, and like for me, for example, like the words, like even just sequins is in like the cloth piece. Like I never heard that before. I just knew that, yo, it's gems in the cloth. You know what I'm saying? Like that was it, right? I didn't know there was a specific word for it. So I just wanted to say like thank you for coming through with that technical ability. I always tell every IT on here, for me, I'm like Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z. I'm just learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning, I'm absorbing the information, just, you know, becoming perfect self. So you know what I'm saying?
And I always joke, me and Ivory IT always joke, like, in the first part, I felt like more like Naruto. Like they kind of looked at me like, this dude is, what is with this dude? Like, you know, like, we're not worried about manga.
Off rip, yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, okay. I might, you know, I joke and I smile and I'm kind of quiet, but like, yo, when we seen a Hokage come out, we know what time it is, right? You know what I'm saying? When he hit the 6th, we know what time it is. But, and so I definitely understand the analogy where you learn stuff, you know, and so it's one of those things where I wanted to give you something more of substance, and then also kind of like a to be continued, like, yo, what, that was it? I wanted to be that, and then the other freestyle I did was just because I'm an IT, and I wanted you guys to understand that, you know, I belong in the path of IT.
You're the first IT to submit 3 pieces. I'm gonna just keep it real. Like the first one, I'm like, damn, like I yo, pick one, whichever one you like. Like what? Like huh?
The only reason I sent the first was because I love I don't want to spoil it for you, but you heard it, and like
I think I gotta re-listen straight up, yo.
Like yo, so all I did simply was like, yo, I'm gonna use $130. The song is actually longer than $130, but I'm like, yo, I'm gonna use $130, 90 seconds, and I'm gonna use all numbers. So literally, when you listen to it, just listen for the numbers. Now, what I did was, to be an IT, I hid the numerical functions. You know, like we've heard so many MCs like, yo, I'm the 1, the 2, the 3, 4, 5. Now listen. So when I came out the gate, yo, with one motion of the pen, I get the net doubled. I tried to be humble. Here's a little forecasting.
And then the quintessential. Come on.
And then X, so with the F, I gotta spell it out. So it's a hex. You know what I mean? Like, so I personally, like, when I got to 6, like, what, I got to spell it out, use the senses. So, anyway, but I definitely appreciate the time, IT. I could talk.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for joining IT. Thank you for embodying that verse. I mean, crazy. I'm but go listen to Morph, kind of study, see what I can kind of pick out of there and kind of try to expand a little bit. And for me, it's always a pleasure to have every IT on here. I mean, it's super dope because you guys are some of the best lyricists that I personally know, personally seen work, and kind of it's one of those where it's like every time an IT comes and delivers, it's like it just adds more fuel to my fire. Like, okay, yo, I gotta be better than this in terms of like how can I excel my craft? You know what I'm saying? And so it's super dope to get that. It gives it just lights that fire, you know, that Michael Jordan fire. Like, yo, we gotta keep going, you know.
As I mean, but you know, like we're to a point where like I'm gonna say this now, like so like I eventually gained like the confidence to send this to Master Lupe IT and some other and another Mickey Fax IT and
shouts out to Mickey Fax and Lou IT.
Yeah, and the reactions, like one of them was like complete opposite, and one was like, oh yeah, oh that's cute. You know what I mean? It's like, ugh, like bro, really? Like I lost my wig here, and he's like, yes. You know what, IT, that's pretty good. I'm proud of you. And the other one was like, yo, what are you doing over there? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, all right. So now I'm in between this, but then I have to remember. And I tell people this all the time. So now the homeboys and homegirls at home here in Milwaukee, SOSA is literally filled with some of the best rappers in the world. And so I gauged his reaction as, you do know you're an IT, right? You do know you went through this journeyman path to be able to do this, right? And so now that fire, like you said, is like, okay, yeah, let's see if you get up. Yeah, that was pretty good next time. No, next time, I'm not going to give the luxury to say, oh, that's pretty good, IT. It's going to be like, yo, look at little dude IT. You know what I'm saying? Like, this one was like little brother pat on the head, like hit the hair, like, oh, yeah, bro, I seen you with a little jump shot on the court. Look, I seen you. You know what I mean? So
it's a fact. That's a fact.
That's what we're here for, man. Like, Excelsior face doom. Yeah. There you go, TRPIT. Like, there's blood in the water. Like, and so blood in the water, and like only ITs can tread that water. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I told you I can turn ink to wine. I came from, you know what I'm saying?
100% IT. And yeah, I mean, thank you for joining us, IT. The piece Morph by Maal himself is it's the stage name that you operate under, which, by the way, I think you have one of the dopest government names. That last name is crazy.
I'm Creole.
Why do you use that? But yo, super fire, IT. And yeah, the piece Morph, you can see the live breakdown or the live performance piece of it, as well as the song. You can find it on all streaming platforms, I guess. And yeah, I mean, thank you for joining us.
So it took me a while, and that's why this I have to share it with the other ITs, because like I was like, yo, this is an IT piece, but also I know that you'll enjoy it, and you know, I might post the other little ditty up because I feel like, you know,
do your thing, IT. I mean, they were both crazy, but this one just had a thing to it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
this one was for you. Like, I was like, yo, cool, like cool IT is going to like this one. You know what I mean? Like,
crazy.
I knew it when
tailored, you know.
Yeah, my wife was like, why are you just quit playing and just do it? And I'm like, you know,
it's that fire. It's that fire, IT.
For sure, bro.
But yeah, thanks for joining us, man. I mean, I'm about to go bump this thing, break it down, kind of probably hit you about it later. And I mean,
you know, please do.
100%. And yeah, once again, Maal himself, you guys can hit him with a follow. Make sure y'all follow him, check out his music. Incredible lyricist, and that's kind of, you're on my list now, IT. Just like, yo, comes for you. Now I'm playing. But yeah, well, thanks so much for joining us, man. Very much appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Oh, man.
Take care. And say what up to your producer in the back, you know what I'm saying? Body this shit too.
Yeah, the homie. He in here working right now. He got on his headset and he just out doing right now. But you know, I came in here to get busy a little bit, so
100%. But yeah, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Take care. Peace.